Before your life changes, it gets harder, darker, and very lonely. You will feel lost, anxious, and deeply misunderstood, but that's how it's supposed to feel, because you're not breaking down, you're breaking through. There are 3 exact signs that you're in the final phase before your breakthrough. Number 1, you feel completely alone. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're on another planet. This isn't loneliness, this is separation. You're being pulled out of the crowd you no longer belong to. You stop laughing at jokes that used to make you laugh. You stop showing up to places that drain your energy. Your phone gets quieter. Your focus sharpens. You stop trying to be liked. You start needing peace more than attention. And people around you don't understand why you've become distant. They think you're disappearing. But in truth, you're appearing as yourself, finally. You no longer entertain conversations that feel shallow. You no longer accept plans that distract you from your purpose. The more in tune you get with what actually matters, the more dissonance you feel from the things that don't. And that dissonance, it's your compass. It shows you where not to go again. They'll say you're avoiding life, but you're actually stepping into it. A version of you they've never seen before. A version not built for comfort, but for alignment. No one tells you how lonely alignment feels at first, not because you want to be alone, but because your energy is now expensive. You've seen what happens when you give it to the wrong people, the wrong situations, the wrong distractions. And now you've decided that you'd rather feel alone in truth than feel surrounded in deception. The silence teaches you everything noise never could. It teaches you that clarity doesn't come from talking to everyone. It comes from listening to yourself, from watching your habits, from questioning your impulses, from noticing who drains your strength and who protects it. You begin to value solitude not as punishment, but as a portal. The fewer voices around you, the more powerful the one inside you becomes. Most people run from this phase. They fill the silence with endless scrolling, parties, quick hits of attention, anything to feel something. But you stayed. You stared at the wall. You walked through the stillness. You faced the questions you once avoided. That's why you're different now. This stage doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're shedding versions of yourself that only survived because you kept yourself distracted. You're becoming someone who doesn't need a crowd to feel complete. You're becoming someone who doesn't need a cheerleader to take action. You're becoming someone who finally realizes being seen is useless if it costs you being yourself. This is the kind of solitude that creates clarity, strength, vision. And that vision, it won't make sense to most people, not because it's wrong, but because it's not theirs to understand. Stop explaining what doesn't need to be explained. Start protecting what must be protected. Your energy, your peace, your path. You didn't lose connection. You upgraded your standards. Now, only those with real depth, real honesty, and real alignment will survive in your space. That's not loneliness. That's evolution. Number 2, you can't fake your life anymore. There comes a moment where every part of your being rejects what no longer fits. Your smile fades around people who drain you. Your attention drifts in conversations that lack purpose. You wake up and realize the mask is too heavy, the act too exhausting, and the reward? Not worth it. You stop trying to impress. You stop trying to meet expectations that never served you. Your instincts go into rebellion, not against others, but against the watered-down version of yourself you used to offer the world. This isn't a breakdown. It's a breakthrough of integrity. You feel sick continuing in places where your soul was never supposed to settle. You're not running from life. You're removing the filters. You're deleting the scripts handed to you by systems that trained you to stay quiet, to stay agreeable, to play a role instead of living a truth. Suddenly, you can't sit at the same tables anymore. The conversations feel like sandpaper. The goals you were chasing, meaningless trophies built to decorate prisons. You feel disgust in rooms that once felt familiar. Not because you're bitter, but because you're done compromising your peace for acceptance. This is the chapter where everything gets uncomfortable, but it's not a sign to go back. It's a signal to clean house, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You change your food, you clean your space, you unfollow the content that numbs your ambition. You delete numbers not because you're angry, but because you're done pretending those connections meant something when they didn't. And then comes the guilt, the subtle guilt that whispers, "You're selfish for choosing yourself." But here's the truth. Choosing yourself in a world that profits off your self-neglect is the most radical act of rebellion. The guilt is programmed, but the freedom, that's earned. You realize you've been trading years of your life just to keep people comfortable who never even asked if you were okay. You've been adjusting your tone to not seem too intense, adjusting your dreams to not seem too ambitious, adjusting your truth to not seem too different. You no longer adjust, you no longer seek permission to grow, you no longer delay your healing because it makes other people uncomfortable. You stop lying, not with words, but with energy, and everything starts shifting. The wrong relationships end, the right ones begin. The job that drained you becomes impossible to keep. The environment that ignored your worth becomes intolerable, and the pressure to stay who you've always been becomes unbearable. Because once you've tasted truth, going back to anything else will choke you. It's not easy. It's never easy. You lose people. You lose titles. You lose identities you spent years building. But what you gain you. You gain mornings without anxiety. You gain nights without pretending. You gain conversations that nourish instead of deplete. You gain confidence that doesn't need validation. You gain a direction built on purpose instead of fear. That kind of shift can't be faked. And once you're in it, you either rise or you rot. Number 3, emotions don't control you like before. There's a difference between having emotions and being owned by them. Before you reacted, instantly, loudly, blindly. Now, you observe, you process, you choose. You felt anger so loud it shook your hands. You felt fear so deep it made you question everything. You felt sadness like a fog over your entire day. But now, those feelings visit, not move in. You've learned to separate what happens to you from what happens in you. And that separation, that's freedom. People try to provoke you. Chaos tries to distract you. Pressure tries to break you. But your response isn't panic, it's clarity. Because you've felt enough chaos to know that responding emotionally often creates more damage than the situation itself. You no longer let temporary feelings make permanent decisions. This is the mastery that most never reach, because most people are still chained to their triggers. One word ruins their day, one person hijacks their week, one disappointment derails their focus. But not you, not anymore. You pause before you speak, you think before you act, you ground yourself before you react. And that pause, that moment of control, that's power most will never understand. You've developed mental discipline, emotional maturity, internal awareness, and it didn't come from books, it came from battle. You learned this through heartbreak, betrayal, loss. You didn't read it, you bled it. That's why it's real. You realize now that most people speak from pain, not principle, that their judgment says more about their wounds than your worth. So you no longer internalize projections. You let them pass. You've trained yourself to choose peace over performance, patience over panic, focus over frenzy. And people around you notice. They say you've changed. Not because you're colder, but because you're in control. They can't trigger what you've healed. They can't manipulate what you've mastered. You're not emotionless. You're emotionally intelligent. You still feel deeply. You still cry. You still ache, but you don't let it break your direction. You sit with it. You learn from it. Then you move. Your life is no longer about reacting. It's about creating. And emotions, once your enemy, are now tools. Tools for awareness, for connection, for growth. This shift isn't loud. It's quiet. It's subtle. But it's the most powerful thing you've ever done. Because once you learn to control your emotions, no one else can control you. If any of this sounds familiar, if you felt the loneliness, the shift, you are not breaking down. You are breaking through. This is what it looks like when you're about to evolve. You will be misunderstood. You will be judged. You will be alone. But one day, you will wake up in a life that feels like peace, surrounded by people who see you, doing work that fills you, and you'll realize you didn't break. You broke through. If this message found you in the shadows, it wasn't an accident. We speak to the ones the world ignores, the ones who refuse to be average, the ones who rise when no one's watching. Like this video, subscribe and leave a comment, because the more we grow, the more people we reach. And someone out there right now is ready to give up. One message can save them. Be part of that.